Let's talk about the luck factor. This is going to be interesting because a lot of this stuff I haven't really been thinking about that much until I brought the topic up in my head, and then I thought this is super interesting. So the first time this popped up is when I was doing that analysis versus that guy who just started playing. He was in my chat recently. I don't remember what his name was, but I did a little review of his replay versus someone equally unskilled, non-skilled, I should say. Un is to say that it had been taken away. I think non is to say that it never existed. So that means that whole milk should technically be called, or skim milk should technically be called unfat, because you took the fat out of it. Okay, anyway. Zombie, yes, Glitter, thank you. Anyway, when I watched their game, what I noticed is that everything that happened there was 100% luck, right? As I mentioned, they both were just doing this. If they do this and someone gets a hit, there's no skill involved in someone going like this, and then they reach down and go like this, and someone gets a clock on the jaw. 100% of what we were watching was going to be luck by circumstance. So any hit that someone got was totally uneducated. There was nothing behind what they were doing. From dash up DP, there's nothing there. So that's what made me realize, that the more skilled we become in the game, the less of a factor luck is, but it's always a factor. But the better you get, the less it dictates the match and how you can circumnavigate. Mag loves that word. He loves it so much I almost said his full name right there for no reason. You can kind of reduce the amount that luck has an effect. Okay? Here's a question that you can ask yourself, that I asked myself, is if we were in neutral and I'm looking for a whiff punish, you stick out the button that I'm looking for and I whiff punish it, how much of that is luck? It kind of seems like none, right? Because I'm looking for it, I got the punish, there's no luck at all. But the fact that the opponent ended up throwing a button there, the button I was looking for, there is a little tiny bit of luck that the fact that they just happen to throw that button in that moment. So even if it's 1% luck, there's still a little bit of luck. Like, who's to say that it was guaranteed that they were going to press a button there? Like, unless it's like he always presses Stand Fierce when he's in the corner after the throw there. So, how much of that is actually luck? Cha-Cha Z, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I feel lucky. Another example, check this out, you guys. You ever do something really sick in a tournament? Check this out. You know how this happens way too much, okay? Someone knocks me down, I say I'm gonna go for an EXDP, I wake up, don't get the EXDP, and they block. But I tried to do EXDP. Or, I try to throw a fireball, but a fireball doesn't come out, like a jab comes out, and they jump right at that moment, and then I DP. And this is how this is going to tie into the what are you reading thing, because that's 100% luck. And if that were to happen in a tournament, people don't say, oh, well, I actually tried to throw a fireball. You actually had the right read there. You just kind of let it go past. But these things happen all the time in little tiny variations. Cha-Cha Z. Cha-Cha Z. Thank you very much. Man, I feel lucky. Okay? You know how often... Here's another version of luck. I tried to wake up super versus this guy in one of my first tournaments. I woke up super, my super didn't come out, and he pressed a button and won. Because I accidentally did fireball or whatever it was. And he won. I had the right call, but because of luck, or whatever you want to call it, human error, which creates luck, these things can happen. That's why I'm always talking to people about who don't like to be on the ground and you're jumping all the time, and how crazy shit can just happen when you jump because you can't block, so that the chances of something unlucky happening goes higher. So you guys both happen to jump at the same time, and Ken hits stand heavy kick first, and he hits you, and you think, or you do a demon flip and they just happen to do something crazy and it just works. So all these little things add up, and I think there's a little bit of luck involved in almost everything. Every read you make, it's just that when you get better at the game, your reads become more sophisticated, so you have a less chance of it failing. But still, there's a little bit involved. My favorite is when I back throw a shimmy attempt in the corner and they die after. My favorite is when I back throw a shimmy attempt in the corner and they die. Oh yes. Or something similar to that. This happens all the time for a lot of people. You walk up, throw, then they try to throw tech, and it misses, and you punish it. That happens actually a lot. So I would say luck is a big factor in this game. As a matter of fact, it might be one of the highest factor percentages. If you're taking into account all the things about this game, everything involves a little bit of luck. Because, like, is it 100% chance that when you do this angle on Tokido, he's gonna get the autocorrect DP? And if you hit, you're lucky. If you get a jump in on Tokido here, you're lucky, right? Because he should be getting the autocorrect DP every single time. But he's not going to get it every time because of human error, and maybe the situation was weird, and maybe he was looking for something else. So you're kind of lucky in that regard. So it actually plays a big role. In sevens, I've done that before too. I tried to do DP, but I got wake up EX fireball and got the counter hit. I was in tournament against Marcus, actually, random high fives, and the same thing happened where he blocked, but I did wake up EX fireball on accident into activate instead of V trigger DP activate or EX DP activate. So, and that kept me alive. So yeah, luck is a huge factor, man. Zero luck. So these clutch things happen all the time. And the reason why that I brought that up as an important thing is because it goes right into that next topic of what are you reading. And this is the first time I had thought about this, honestly, like deeply. I've never really thought about this concept that much. When you're reading an opponent, sometimes they're trying to send you different signals. And sometimes those signals can be on accident. So what if I'm playing Mag, he delays a button on my wake up to bait the EXTP, but I do a wake up crouch fierce on accident. New information has just been thrown into the game, and I crush counter him. New information has been into the game that has nothing to do with my actual game plan. You see what I'm saying? So I wake up crouch fierce, it beats his delay, whatever button he's gonna do, stand light kick or whatever he's gonna do. So you think to yourself like, and then Mag has to think, okay, this guy does wake up heavy buttons to beat my delay. Next time I'm gonna do this. But then I also have that same information. So because of a mistake happening in the system, we both have new information. Isn't that interesting? So, or for example, if I try to do an EXDP and he was so certain that I was gonna do it, but I don't. That new information, he has to think differently. Like, well, I was sure he was gonna do EXDP there, but he didn't. Or anything. Or you knew I was gonna fireball. Because let's say I do double fireball every time. Like every time I hit you with a fireball, I dash up and do another fireball just for like an example. And this time you knew it was coming, but you jump. And I try to do a fireball, but I get a jab and then DP your ass for the win. So I'm always reading people as if everything I'm watching is honest. And I just realized that. Because I try to quote unquote play honestly. Like I don't try to, I try to deceive people as little as possible. Except for those 50-50 situations. But I never watch people like they're trying to give me signals on purpose about the wrong thing. I've never really looked at it like that before. You know? I've never looked at someone like maybe he's sending me the signal on purpose until recently where, for example, I've been doing this thing where I know people are waiting for me to Tatsu through their fireball. So I'll pump backwards like this. You know? Like I'll quarter circle back, and I'll make it look like I'm looking for their fireball. Quarter back. And I realized, like, wait a second, you're trying to trick him into thinking that you're doing this. I swear to God. I know this isn't that high level, or maybe it is, but I never really thought about doing that so much. And Sanford kind of brought it to my attention when he said purposely frustrating people. I've always looked at the game as I'm trying to honestly do something. I'm going to beat you honestly doing something. Never so much like sending tricks to people like that. And so this has been opening up like a whole can of worms. I was like, man, I need to really be sure to keep into account what type of information I'm sending this person, because to me it's really obvious. Like, if you're gonna throw a fireball at me and I MK Tatsu through it, you should have seen beforehand that I was doing this, like quarter circle back. Like, you don't see that? You don't see me going down back. So, but some people are, and that's why they don't throw the fireball. But I never, until recently, thought maybe I should do that just to make them think I'm doing that, and then immediately like dash forward or something like that, or throw my own fireballs, or do something to make them, or even like an EX demon flip out of nowhere, to make them think that not see that coming. And the reason why a part of this is happening is because I always think that if I want to deceive someone, then I have to do the perfect counter option. Like, well, if they, you guys might have this problem too. Like, if they think I'm gonna jump here, but let's say I always do knockdown into demon flip, right? So next time I do knockdown into demon flip, they're gonna DP me. So what is my perfect counter option to that? I don't think you always have to think about the perfect counter, rather than just maybe in this time I'm just gonna dash forward, or something like that, or maybe this time I'm gonna heavy demon flip to go over them, or I'm gonna dive kick to try to go like this, or try to bait him in some way. I'm always trying to think like, what's the perfect counter option? But maybe you don't always have to have the perfect counter option. Maybe you just have to have a different option that won't get hit. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and it's interesting. And the reason why the luck factor is so important in that is because sometimes when that luck goes your way, you just gotta take it in stride and not pretend like you did it on purpose, or maybe you should pretend like you did it on purpose, but take into account that they have to think that, fuck, now he's waking up crouch fierce, so now I have to worry about my delay button, even though they don't really have to. That was a total fuck up. I'm trying to think of the last time that happened. Oh, when I played Rushdown last in that tournament, that jump forward, okay, he did knees. He did knees, and in the exact moment he did knees, I did a perfect jump in. And if he was looking at that deliberately and with honesty, he would think he was baiting my knees for this. And because it looked too perfect. It was like this. And I did a perfect jump in, and I thought that jump in was, there was no educated guess on that. I jumped forward because he was so far away that I think I was thinking to throw air fireball stupidly, but because he dive kicked at that exact moment, or he did knees at that exact moment, I just fell right on top of him, and I won the game because of that. And then the EX demon flip dive kick after that, because you know that's just the way it goes. But I just thought that was super interesting. I never thought about it like that, and I think once I start to develop that part, then I think you guys are in big fucking trouble, because I have a very streamlined way of thinking. Like, I kind of want to beat you, and I don't really want people to have excuses when I beat them. I want you to think like I got outplayed every time I play you. I just want you to think I shouldn't give a fuck when people think like, oh, I got scrubbed out. I shouldn't. Who gives a shit what you think about that? But I want to tend to have people think like, I just got outplayed there. For example, if I keep mixing in a throw or shimmy, a bad player will keep guessing, a good player will backdash or jump away. You wouldn't do the next level versus a bad player. Yeah, we talked about that recently, where you kind of like, you go to the next level yourself. You're playing the game by yourself. You're like maybe your opponent is so not on your level that you're kind of like playing the game by yourself. Yeah, it's funny. I just thought that was really interesting, because luck happens all the time. Sometimes I'll do something sick and I just won't even bother mentioning that it was an accident. Why should I point out every single thing that's an accident? And it makes me wonder how many high-level situations are actually an accident. You know? Like when you watch something, you're like, oh my god, that was so sick. Like, Daigo is a god. Maybe that was totally on accident. But he's not gonna be after the tournament, like, yeah, so... You know, what about this? Oh, it's kind of an accident. I meant to do this and it just didn't work out. There's no way that doesn't happen. Like, infectious wake up stand medium kick? Well... The truth is, I'm Dago. It's Daigo sweep AA when it's actually flash kick and it works, and people are like, oh my god, Daigo's so godlike, how did you know sweep was going to work there? Or so-and-so is so godlike, how they know it's going to work there? Oh, he did do that on purpose. Trust me, ever since Kim Tae brought that to my attention, that's like I'm doing that 80% of the time. There's a video of Daigo reviewing his replays and saying which ones were luck, preemptive, and which ones were pre-action. Sick. Yeah, and see, the ones that are luck, I would say he's still kind of looking for something like that. I'm talking about especially lucky. Like, for example, I'm trying to think of a really high level example of anything that's ever happened like that where you're just like, oh my god, the luck is crazy. I'm trying to really think here. For example, how certain was Knuckle-Doo that the EX helicopter move, that Armika's EX helicopter throw or airplane throw or whatever that's called, was going to dodge the super? Was he really certain of that? And then after that, he does a belly flop, a punishable belly flop. He gets Idom in the corner and he jumps and does this, a total crazy ass read. And Idom said, I thought I walked under. Now, did he actually think he walked under, or is he just not admitting that he didn't see that option? My guess is he didn't expect the belly flop and got 8. Tokido won Evo by accident. I can't think of it, but because a lot of the time BDM people won't mention, like there's no reason for people to mention that they did that. Like for example, a funny ass example is when I played Phenom and Combo Breaker and I did Wake Up Sweep twice and crush countered them both times when I was trying to V reversal. And even the people behind me is like, that's so, how did you get that kind of a read? I'm like, dude, I didn't get that read. I tried to V reversal. That was a perfect example because I think Phenom for a second thought like, why are you doing that? Like, I see that it's working, but why are you doing that? Like, and I said, quit delay button, dude. Don't you see I got the read? But then he probably figured like, well, why wouldn't you do a different button? Why sweep? Because I want that hard knockdown 50-50, bitch. You need to learn how to play Akuma, because your ass is lacking in the matchup. It was really funny. And I felt bad. And I think early on, you don't care about winning on accident. Do you guys know the first thing I ever did that was deliberate? Here's the first deliberate thing I've ever done. I'll never forget it. I was playing Street Fighter 4. I picked Ryu, because that was what you're supposed to do, but I liked his Ultra 2, the uppercut. I was playing against a T-Hawk, and I noticed that the T-Hawk can do this thing where he like jump and angle jump in. And I thought to myself in deliberation, I thought, I'm going to Ultra 2 when he does that angle thing. And I'm going to see if it works. He jumps up, he does the angle, and I do Ultra 2 and get it. That was my first strat ever. I had not thought about Street Fighter. That was my first strat. I thought I'm going to Ultra 2 this angle jump in. And it was sick. And that's what showed me that when you come up with a strat and implement it, it's way better than actually winning the match. Yeah, and that strat wasn't even jacked. That was organic. You want to see a Lucia setup stack? No. I get tight when I get hit with Wake Up Fierce because I shimmy and they try to V reversal. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I wonder how many strats you had when you played Alex. I'll take some credit for this one. When I played Knuckle-Doo, that was the first time he said he's ever seen the crush counter sweep into the clothesline charge. That's the first time he ever seen it. So I was the first one to do that to Knuckle-Doo. I'll take that. Yep, that was a good moment. Just like when Nuts showed, Tokido the Kara demon, the stand heavy punch Kara demon, and Tokido went, oh, oh, oh. Just when that happened with Tokido, when I showed that when I hit Knuckle-Doo with that, and he went, whoa, I'd never seen that before. It was the same kind of gratification. I was like, yeah, I'm on Knuckle-Doo's level. I can't believe I used to think shit like that. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, what's going on, Cinders? So long story short, I've always been taking information very literally. Oh, he does this. He might want to do this. There's never the second layer. There's just a first layer of my game plan versus your game plan, and I never really looked and thought that there's a lot of little details in there where someone's trying to give me misinformation on purpose. I can't say I've ever deliberately thought about that, and ever since I've been thinking that, I think my gameplay's about to change a lot. That's not because I mean, I just don't truthfully think anyone's ever brought that to my attention, like, to do that. And because I've always played with, I always talk to you guys about playing with, like, a lot of intent. And so I never really thought, like, it's just gonna be my gameplay versus yours, my tech versus your tech. And I never really thought beyond that, like, maybe, now I'm really gonna, like, take it up a notch, and I want you to think I'm gonna do this, etc., etc. So that changes the meta for me for sure. And I know I'm probably late to the party, but I'm kind of late to the party every time. Fashionably late. I'm a late bloomer, as they say. So, yeah. The, what are you reading? Maybe you're not, maybe you're reading what your opponent wants you to see and not what they want you to see. And not what they don't want you to see. This is conditioning your opponent? Yeah, but I've never really looked at it on those terms like that. Like, I have done, oh, I keep doing demon flip palm here, I'm gonna do demon flip throw here, for sure. Like, things like that. But exactly, but I've never thought about it in terms before. I can't say I've ever elaborated on doing that, like, on a deeper level and with everything. Because when you think about it in situations like, oh, I do demon flip palm every time, this time I'm doing demon flip throw, that's a situation, like a very obvious situation. But what about just in the neutral? What about just in these little situations? Like, for example, a very, like, let's say Tokido would notice this. Every time I do crouch medium kick on hit, what do? You guys know in the chat, I do forward heavy punch. Someone like Tokido would notice that and blow it up, right? You guys don't punish it, but he would. And now I have to think to myself, okay, I do crouch medium kick on hit. He knows I'm going to do forward heavy punch. Now what am I going to do? Right? Throw or something like that. So it depends. You have to get a read about what your opponent knows. And I need to do better about that. So if I know that you're looking for the forward heavy punch, I can walk up throw. I don't do that nearly enough, or at least I've never thought to elaborate on that more. So that's going to be a really big focus point for me moving on. Maybe these tournament matches have opened me up to that as well. Speaking of Metro, I saw him earlier, but the text went by too fast, so I wasn't able to see. But those two doing two dash demons to him wasn't like a mark of disrespect or like, I'm gonna do it because I'm trying to look sick or whatever. They were both reads on just that he wasn't ready for dashes. So if you're not ready for dash, you're not ready for dash demon, because you can't get faster than that. So yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, and it helps me out to elaborate these things to other people, because sometimes you guys chime in with something really interesting, and so yeah. Anything that comes to mind that I find interesting, I'm just gonna throw it out there, because there's people out there who have thought about it, the same concept, for a lot longer. Like me explaining this to Daigo, he'd be like, "Dude, how were you even playing the game before that? Then what were you even doing beforehand? What were you thinking about before?" Or something like that. I was like, well, truth be told, I was waiting for my meter to EX demon flip at your bitch ass, punk, bud. By the way, for Cinders who's worried about the tips on how to deal with FANG, this is all going to be basic stuff. A lot of you guys are not going to learn anything from this, or some of you guys aren't going to learn anything from this, but people who don't play the FANG matchup enough, these things will definitely help you. What were you doing before that? Hitting buttons, obviously, idiot. I'm having an epiphany. Yeah, I really did. I was on my walk. I was like, man, I wonder how much these people who are better than me, like Idom for example, it makes me wonder how much Idom, how far ahead of me and thinking he actually is. Even when I used to have close sets with him back when I used Alex and he used Laura in season 2, I used to actually have close sets with him. But maybe that's because he was actually so far ahead of me that the whole time he's playing a different game and I'm just not learning. Fuck you. I don't know. I'm just playing my game. I'm just EX stomping and EX for EX air grab. You ever see when he broke down the set as he was playing? No, I haven't. He's a bot. I kind of want to see him. He's one of the people I want to bring on to do like a full analysis of a replay. Like, why did you do that? Because maybe he would say more than, well, I don't know. I just felt it. I just felt like Idom would be the kind of person to be like, I don't know. I just was like, bro, I'm going to do this. And Kami's going to be like, that was just mad random. That's trash. Let's watch, oh, you beat him a couple times. Oh, this JC Summon guy's pretty good. So I'm gonna be thinking about that a lot more, because the more, you know, we talk about meta a lot in this stream, and the more we talk about it, I actually think I get better at this game. This is weird. I actually think I have gotten better at this game talking about the meta rather than technically playing in training mode. I feel like I've become a better player more so through chatting about the situations rather than always sitting in training mode. Exactly, theorizing. Because it makes me think when I'm in the match. Technical aspect is important for sure for execution and coming up with different scenarios, but for me, thinking in the match, that's probably the most beautiful thing about Street Fighter V, is that it allows you to theorize more and implement rather than always having to hash everything out in training mode, because it's an easier game to execute. Yeah, and Zafirino is really jumping like crazy. It's not a bad technique against because, well, she has kind of weak anti-airs, so I see what he's trying to do. Now he's not going to jump at all. That was not, we don't count that as a jump. Yeah, Phoenix, right? He's like the best, right? So he actually hasn't done a forward jump yet. I think he was purposely acting like a jumping ass Akuma. I think he wanted to put that in his head, like, I'm gonna jump like crazy, bitch. Wake up super. Okay, so let's see. Was that on purpose? No. EXDP V trigger activate. However, not a lot of people know how to punish. Not everyone punishes Akuma super properly. So waking up with super sometimes, if you don't see it coming, it's actually can be pretty safe at times, because a lot of you kind of that's a super that you have to lab. You don't just regularly punish that. Yeah, Kimte, actually EXDP into V trigger is not that easy. It's not like EX V trigger DP is any easier than anything else that's like that requires like frame precision like that. You have to do, especially on a fucking D-pad, man. It's actually surprisingly difficult. It's surprisingly difficult. He doesn't use pad, but so you never screw that up, Kimte? You would say you screw that up very rarely? I screw it up 40% of the time. 30-40% of the time I screw up EXDP V-Trigger wake up. Ridiculous. 1 in 200? That's cap. I'm gonna watch all your replays. I'm gonna watch all of your replays. That was sick, dude. Look at this. This JC Sama guy is so lame. You always notice when people don't throw. Alright. So those topics were interesting. Now let's go to how to deal with FANG. For all you guys who are very experienced in this game, don't expect to have some fucking mind-blowing tech. This is going to help people who haven't really labbed the matchup. If you don't lab the matchup, then if you've never labbed the FANG matchup, you're going to learn some shit. When you click it together. Okay. Wait, all of a sudden I'm getting like Russian emails. I hope Violence isn't some infiltrator. Okay, let's see here. I have it all written down. Okay, first things first. The fake cloud block strings. Okay. If you're not doing something about these fake cloud block strings, that's where you need to start. Okay, you need to do something about those. Everyone has something they can do about those. Lab it up. Find a situation where it gets spaced like this, because this kind of shit happens all the time. Okay, that's not it. But you can notice when it falls short, and you could do something about that. They do this all the time. And Jury has similar things. There's a lot of characters who kind of have this same shit, where they stop a string, to get an advantage like that. Like a Jury, in the middle of a string, she'll do, for example, the first hit of stand medium kick into her charge. You know, that's the same situation. Like Just a Kid, for example, who is reliant on people not knowing the matchup. You know, because no one labs Jury because she's not interesting to anyone. So just imagine being so reliant on that, where you're basically, it's hard to even tell how good of a player you are because of how reliant you are on fake charges and stuff, you know? Like, it's like, I don't want to say fraudulent, but, like, yeah, like just a gimmick, like, just a few minutes in the lab. V skill in the corner, like, you know, just like something like, is he just a kid? Okay. Another thing to notice that I didn't know until probably like a year and a half ago or something like that. FANG and his 4-frame jab gets traded with stand heavy kick after a stand heavy kick. Okay, so something like this. If your character has a 3-frame jab, this always trades if you actually press the button on time. Okay, so it's only +1. What if you have no 3-frame? Then you do what you always do and just DP. Now, FGC Jesus takes this one step further and fucking does parry. Next time I have V-Trigger, I'm gonna do that. This. Because you can cancel it into V-Trigger. Maybe that's kind of a cool route to go. I've never really thought to cancel V-Skill kick into V-Trigger in block strings like that. Okay, this is +1. So if you have a 3-frame character, definitely consider, or if you have a 3-frame armor, maybe, consider doing that there. I think that Alex... Wait, did I lose you guys? Are you guys still there? Did I lose you? Huh, okay. Usually when that happens, everything cuts out. Sunny G, thank you very much. I can't see you anymore. Okay, so first off, the fake cloud block strings. Take note of that. Standing heavy kick is +1, so if you're a 3-frame character especially, you gotta challenge that every time. Because the trade just resets the situation. That's better than being in a +1 situation, I guess. Okay?
How about a double dose of poison?
Stand heavy punches -2. Okay, anything new? I don't have that written down. So anything like that I will add later for sure. Okay, so another thing is capitalizing on this, getting a read on this, and doing something about it. Not just letting him get away with that. You're gonna have to lab out your own option. But for example, if you're someone like Akuma, who's got every option in the world, you can kind of, I mean, you got like 8 options really. I could probably even. You can do whatever you want, okay? Maybe if I do it on startup. Fine, you can't let them get away with this either, because they'll do that on block strings as well. Fangs kind of rely on you to hesitate during their block strings. A lot of characters are like that. So if you're over here, I can still, if I get just right, can I do this? Yeah, something like that. Work it out. Lab this shit out. Because if Fangs don't see you punishing this, they're just gonna fucking do it all day. No, Alex, no, just like the Cloud, there are situations where they'll set this up in the middle of a block string for it not like, and they'll space it out, so it'll be like crouch medium kick balls, and you'll sit there and wait, and then next thing you know, you're blocking one of the first poison balls, just like that. Maybe a situation like that, where you're blocking, and then they out of nowhere do that. So you always want to be ready, but the thing is, if you have something like an EXDP, that works against both Cloud and the poison balls. So you can just let it rip. Same thing with against Rashid. You know, if you do a Crouch Fierce, you should always kind of be pumping the pumping the EXDP after you block a Crouch Heavy Punch. You know. For example, all right. Let me do. I don't really know how to charge that well. That okay. So if I'm like this, you just want to. I mean, it's pretty standard. Maybe I can even you can even sometimes do that. If I cancel, I think I can block it in time. Actually, Akuma's -6 on activate. Yeah, so that doesn't actually work. But if your character has a fast activation, which Akuma's got like the shittiest in the game, I don't know if anyone has a worse activate than -6. Like I could be wrong there. But let's check this out. Yeah, you have options. Maybe I can even activate, or yeah, actually, yeah, of course I can just DP. Can't you Tatsu through that? I think in situations you can, but actually the first hit of Tatsu has a bit of an issue. I kind of wish there was a V-Trigger version of Tatsu. I mean, we get V-Trigger version of Fireball. Akuma has a bad activation. Oh yeah, dude, -6. You can't. If you raw activate, his raw activate is the worst in the game, I think. Oh, actually, no. Falk. Yeah. Yeah. She's a minus 1 billion. Well, some are not meant to be raw activated. Raw dog. Okay. Oh, and another thing. This here. I don't even know how to do it. This here. You got them in the corner. They weasel out just like that. Fuck you. Right? And then this happens. And then they're out of the corner. This, it's not throw invulnerable. It's not throw invulnerable. So you can, if you bait with some buttons, you're not gonna be able to get it. But if you know how to space yourself right, I don't know if you can use a medium button, honestly. But you should be able to recover in time to get that. Something like that. Because they'll do this a lot. So if you know a guy's going to wake up with that, and you're scared of a couple other options, you can jab, and if you're good enough, fast enough, you can actually recover and throw them fast. Real quick too, like that. Because sometimes you don't want to throw, because they will, especially in a life or death situation, they can do that instant overhead, which is another thing I wanted to point out. You can't forget that this is an option. Oh, he has another one? You could do that too? Okay, don't forget about this. Can you even go forward? Yeah, you can. Don't forget about that. And it goes back pretty far. Don't forget about this goddamn button. Look at that. That's pretty good distance. So watch out. Okay. I saved the best for last. Oh, one more thing that's fairly simple actually. How do you do his stupid super? You gotta lab this punish out, of course. It's weird, and if you don't lab it, you're not gonna get the punish on it. See? See? I already thought I labbed it out, and it's apparently not good enough. Because I think I just used to do this. Oh, fuck it, I don't know. Something like that. No, we just went over that, Grayson. Maybe I can even... This is what I'm talking about. This is me talking about wanting to lab stuff together. There we go. Look at that. Maybe you can. Oh, yeah, buddy. That's sick. Oh, you don't want to get that, though. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Maybe you have to wait like a little bit longer. What do you mean, why am I labbing this now? Truthfully, you could just wait and jump. Because he is in recovery forever. So you can back up as an Akuma player. You can back up, get right to that poison ball, and then just jump. Yeah, it's not easy though. Maybe there's a certain button I can press. No, you don't want to press that. I just want to find the perfect way to punish this all the time. Oh, okay. Okay. There we go. Double backdash. Double forward dash. Double backdash, double forward dash. We just figured it out. See? I like laughing stuff with you guys. There we go. I'm doing that every time from now on. Oh, that's awesome. There we go. Now, the thing that I haven't worked on the most, and that probably gives you all problems, I don't even know how to do it. How do you even do it? Knee drop? You can probably get way fatter than that. Knee drop? Okay, so he can do this. Yeah, thank you. He can do this at several levels, and he can of course do an air move after. So a lot of times this will happen where you try to punish, but then you're too late, and then he hits you with something. Oh, I see. Oh, I got you. Okay. So we'll take something like this. I've been using actually Fierce DP for this. Like that. See, I think the reason why this is so tricky because it actually not only do buttons not work and you can punish, like you try to do this. Oh, well. I'll just shut the hell up now, I guess. But he can go much higher than that. Okay, so he puts himself in a situation where that shit would not work. See? Exactly. That's what this ends up looking for me. Is I do HDP because of the range, and even that doesn't work sometimes. So you gotta wait. But air to air is good too, yeah. And I have an air to air. Except the only thing is I think I have to. Yeah, I could do that. I don't really like. There's no Oki. But I don't really think there's that good of Oki after HVDP either. This is why you have to lab this stuff out. That stuff that seems easy, like, oh, he's just floating in the air, I should be able to stop that. Look how many problems this is giving me, because it kind of screws up your inputs if you get too close. Maybe I should just, but the only problem is he can cancel into kicks. And some of them are really good. Some of them are really good at the range change. So they'll do something like, you know, let me see here. Like, I don't really know how effective something like that is. That looks like a perfect angle, by the way. Whoa. Yeah, that's a weird one. Did I show how to beat his V reversal? Actually, no, I didn't, and it's been a while since I've done that, and I can't remember if his is strike invulnerable or not. Like, I don't know. I can't remember. You can punish Rashid's, but I don't. And Minat's, but I don't remember if you can punish his with strikes. Not to change the topic, but there is a way to edit colors past 15. I'll show you later if you want. Oh, hell yeah. Are you telling me you can change the EX color? Is that what you're just telling me right now? Or is that a whole different template? Or sorry, I meant that EX09 color. You know, that's like it's like the shadow colors. Okay, so now screw that. Who gives a shit about that? Well, actually, you should give a shit about that. That's my point. Okay. Is it kicks or punches? Okay. So it's of course dependent on what button you're pressing, right? Yeah. But the thing about matchups is that a Fang is not low tier, or I actually don't think he is in general, but he's especially not low tier if you don't know the matchup. If you don't know a matchup, if you don't know the Alex matchup, he's godlike. If you're not punishing his stomps because you don't realize they're -5, you're in big trouble. Yeah, I got you. I can't dash after that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because he's -11. So if I have V-trigger... Yeah. That's good. That's good. But actually, at the end of the day, why? Oh, because that's manual time. That's why. But you know, it's very rewarding if you can get it. Yeah, that's the problem right there, because you have to micro walk just a little bit more than comfortably to ensure that the crouch medium kick hits. But if you're ready for it, I mean, it's actually totally doable. Okay, last but not least, we covered the V reversal, poison balls, floaty boy bullshit, critical art punish. But what we haven't covered is his worst, the worst nightmare. Everyone's fucking worst nightmare. Or no, this is another thing, by the way. We'll go over that after this. How do you do this bullshit? This shit. Now, I would think just basically that here's a problem with this. Let me tell you guys a problem with this, because you think like, okay, well, what you could do is V reversal. Okay, that's true, but this button is not effectively V reversible if you do it late. But if you try to do it too early and they delay their coward crouch, you get this. See? So he's delaying it. I have to do it, but if you can't do it on reaction. Well, Akuma can. This is what makes this matchup really hard, because people say they don't have problems with this button. I think it's fucking insane. Like, oh, just backdash it. Like, if you're right here and you try to backdash, you can't backdash that shit. Okay, then like, I don't know. This button is really good. You have to preemptively backdash, just like you have to preemptively V reversal. This move is really good. It's -2. You do V reversal, you're still -2. Total waste of V meter, unless you do it early. Now the thing is, he doesn't always delay it, as especially if you want it to be really tight frame trap, like you're trying to do like you know, for example, I don't know his bullshit. You're trying to do a button and then you do this right away. So naturally, you don't really want to delay it, but look at that. You can't V reversal on reaction. You kind of have to assume that they're going to do it at a certain time, because you have to do it in the first couple frames. You see that? So without that, you're just guessing, and if you guess wrong, like for example, and I burned a meter there because I got demon flip. So I don't know, man. Very difficult button to deal with. What about neutral jump? Like even if you're trying to neutral jump on reaction, again, you can't do it. Wait, what? What is this? Okay. You can't even parry this in time. The reason why crouch heavy punch P might be good is because they can't block it. So if they decide to delay it, you'll actually still hit them. That's actually kind of interesting. As soon as you see someone go into the coward crouch, maybe you could do that. Maybe that's possible. You'd still have to... The thing is, you'd have to put all your mental energy in just the fact that they're going to cancel into that. And even then, it's like very fast. And crouch V skill is kind of whack to do. Coward crouch is crouch 3P. Or 3K? 3P. What is that really bad? Yeah, getting knocked down with that is not good either. That, and they can sweep that, so that's trash. That's a punish. You could always like wait for it. This is the dude. This is one of the most underrated button moves in this fucking game. This shit's cheap. Yeah, neutral jump and anticipation. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I was like, okay, that actually works out pretty good. I'm just worried about a ton of other stuff too. Crush cutting on sharp works. Yeah, the thing is, this is what happens when you're trying to react, though. That's my problem, is that when you're trying to react to it, because they do it spontaneously. Really good fangs do it spontaneously, so you're trying to react to it, and this happens. Just make sure you're doing it right away, like the coward crouch kick right away. Oh, you're talking about your stand heavy kick? Yeah, I don't think I can do that. However, oh well, my stand heavy punch is 8 frames, but you have to really be even when I react, like I'm trying to do a pure reaction. I don't know. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. If you can do that, more power to you. I can't do that. Holy shit. Yeah. It's hard though. Because, especially if you're trying to backdash it, again, it has to be anticipatory. Is that a word? And I don't know if you can do it on reaction. So once you see him crouch, you have to already be backdashing. So maybe the trick here is to backdash, and then the trick for the fangs, especially when they have V-trigger, is to sweep. Last thing I'm going to say about this matchup, yeah, I'm going to look into that more for sure, is his sweep, as I mentioned. It tricks you. Fang probably hits people with sweep more than any other character with a standard sweep. Look at that. You always you just think it's like the timing is a little weird. So when he's got V-trigger, it's a really great V-trigger starter. Okay, and then he gets, you know, whatever. So watch out for that sweep. If they're always doing coward crouch kick immediately, and you have a read on that, you can V-reversal it.